We're going to have a little relatively short session here about promoting the Camp Constitution. Who likes this camp program? Yeah. How are we going to make this camp a lot more viable? I can't do it myself. We need a lot of help, okay? So this program, this little segment is promoting Camp Constitution. I could add year-round. Now you see this little photograph here? That was something that Dr. Harshman's wife put together. So we got a lot of talented people that can help promote our camp program, right? Let me give you a little history of Camp Constitution. In the December of 2008, we had learned, some of us that had been involved with a prior camp program, that the camp program was no longer going to be continued. And so we called, I got a few people together and said this program is much too important to cancel. So I said let's get it going here, let's continue it, we'll rename it, and we come up with Camp Constitution. And the biggest issue at that time was the insurance issue. We called the insurance company and they said, oh, you don't mind, it's all you got to do. And we got a website started, and we had only a small turnout in 2008. I don't think if the Adamos weren't here, there'd probably be a pretty quiet place. But we've been growing every year. This year we took a little dip in attendance, but it was still a very good turnout. The first camp was held here in 2009, so this would be the fifth camp we've had. We've had information tables at homeschool shows in Massachusetts, Maine, and New Jersey. And the Villaniscus were responsible for the New Jersey information tables. And we've had different people in different parts in Maine and New Hampshire. Now, it's not just about having an information table at an event. It isn't just about getting people to camp, although the Ferrettis were a result of that, and other families. And I think Mr. Jones here, I met him there this past April. It's about promoting the material. So we're reaching out to people, teaching them about the Constitution at these venues. So our mission goes beyond the camp border here. In 2010, we decided to start reprinting and publishing different things, Camp Constitution Press. We published several books and a number of different reprints, and we've actually published something that probably hasn't been reprinted since 1935, a source document. And our 2011 camp, we got some very favorable coverage. National newspaper and the Keene Sentinel, believe it or not, gave us some good coverage, and we do have coverage in others. Also, I don't have it on here, but I've done some talk shows about camp on radio, one in Nashua, New Hampshire, and a few others around the region. And let's see here, we created a YouTube channel, I don't know, about 4 years ago, and we should have a whole lot more views than we do. But some of our videos we get 10 or 15,000, some just a few hundred. Does anybody know what Scribd is? Scribd.com? No. Well, you should, because if you've been going on our website and our Facebook pages, you would know that Scribd is it's like a YouTube for documents. That's where you'll find our camp newspapers. That's where you find all of our camp materials and a lot of source documents. You want to do a project for your homeschool project? You can find, or whatever, a school project, you find a lot of research reference material up on that site. All of the material that we published is available in downloadable form on our Scribd page. And we've had Facebook pages. I know some people don't like using it, I can respect that, but to me it's a way to get the word out, okay? And if you're on Facebook, you should be on those two pages. The reason why we have two pages, my daughter started one back in 2009, 2010, and then we had a new web person. He started one without realizing it, and I didn't want to delete it and all that, so we just have two. So that's where you post your pictures of camp, different events, not just a week after camp, but all year round. Different events that go on, things that are consistent, maybe commentary. See, because if it's just a couple of people posting, what does it look like on a Facebook page? Nobody's really paying attention to it, right? And if you don't have events, okay, can you help host an information table at a homeschool show in your area? All right, or how about an information table at a fair or a flea market? Can you do that? Or float in a parade? Sure you can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So goals and visions. You know, a goal is something that you achieve, that you know you can happen, that you plan it's going to happen, right? A vision is something that you like to happen if you get money, right? Usually, and more important, God's blessing here. So these are some of the things, these are goals that are going to happen in the hopefully short term. A biography of Reverend Kraft and Pastor Lear together. That just something like 100 pages, not some long, big tome. And host them on a national speaking tour. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. They have these two men out there on behalf of Camp Constitution promoting this very important message, right? You notice Mr. Rizzoli there that has not been, he's been glued to that laptop ever since he's been here, except when he's videotaping. He's going to produce a 15 to 20 minute DVD that we can actually hand out to people at various venues, and also put it up on YouTube and other, there's also Vimeo and Meta Cafe and a few others, but YouTube seems to be the most popular one, right? Yeah. What if we have some great instruction here going on. In the last 5 years, Mr. Everett's compiling a list of people that have spoken here at this camp and given classes, and it's quite impressive. Would it be nice if we had a lesson plan that we can actually market, sell? This is what we taught. Here's a lesson plan for Class A, Class B, what have you. But it takes money and it takes a little effort too. That overview of America lesson plan that we used the first time we come in here, I think it was Sunday, that was a result of a lady at a homeschool show. I gave her the DVD, and she went to her homeschool group, and one of the parents thought this was great, and she made a lesson plan. I'm thinking, why didn't we think of that, right? But I think it really worked out well. How about if we extend the camp program, right? Yeah. We could have a longer camp or more than one session. How's that going to happen if I don't get your help? And not just at camp, but year round, okay? You have a good idea that you tell me is something we should do when you come into camp. There's not much we can do about it until the following year, right? And maybe it's a great idea. So don't be selfish with your ideas, but keep this in mind. If you have an idea or a suggestion, help be the catalyst to make that idea or suggestion come to fruition, okay? Don't just say, you guys should do this. You say, Mr. Shurtleff, I'm going to help you do this. Then that's a whole different thing, just giving us ideas. And by the way, we're probably going to add a date to next year's camp already, right? What if we hire at least one full-time person to go to homeschool shows around the country and set up other camps around the country? Anybody have anybody in mind? I nominate myself, okay? I'd love to do that, right? But we can only do that as we grow the mission. Oh, I'd love to have Mr. Tom Moore with me, because we'd be doing campfire with his guitar and Reverend Kraft. Wouldn't that be great? And it can happen, folks. There's no reason why it can't. There's a lot of people out there that if they knew about this camp, they'd be writing these nice big checks for us, because they'll love what we're doing here. See? How about our own campground? We love Towanipi. We'd probably want to model it just like Towanipi, right? With the exception of the leeches. Maybe a couple token leeches just for old time's sake, right? Right? But that can happen. We can have a year-round program. Okay? Fundraising. Now that's the part that no one really likes to do, but without it, we don't have a camp. Okay? And we were blessed with a little bit more this year than we've had in past years. But there's things that you can do, okay? How many of you know people that have a business? Relatives, friends, neighbors, right? That agree with what we're doing here, may like what we're doing here, okay? Book sales. These are things that I have people donate books to me over the years. We have an Amazon, we have a bookstore on Amazon, and some of the proceeds go to help the camp program. What if you sponsor a car wash in your particular area to help raise funds? And you say, yeah, you may just make a couple $100, but it's a Camp Constitution promote. You're doing it to promote the camp program as well. And when you get young people to come by, wash your car, you hand them a camp pamphlet. You know, next thing you know, you got a couple of more campers and a couple more adults, right? How about yard sales to raise funds? Right? I mean, anybody ever have a yard sale? You think you can get people in your neighborhood to donate stuff and have a yard sale to help raise funds? We used to do it for a previous camp right down here in Troy, New Hampshire. Silent auctions. A lot of people can donate. You know, if a person owns a business, an accounting business, hey, I'll give you $200 worth of tax advice. Or if you own an auto body shop, we'll give you $100. We can auction off services and things like that, and also items. And someone gave me an autographed book signed by Robert Welch. I got $50 for it to help the camp program. Stuff like this all the time. And you folks have better ideas than I'll ever even could come up with, right? you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but we can do this too, right? So there's all kinds of things that we can do to help raise money. Now on the sponsors, promote the website. We have a website, campconstitution.net, and we don't want it to be a secret. You should get on there and you should say, hey, Mr. Shurtleff, I see some things are outdated. Let me help you. Here's the information you need, and go run with it, right? Write for the camp blog. We are a media source. It's not just that we publish books, but we have a Camp Constitution press. Mr. Harshman's family and my family attended the Tea Party reenactment this past December. It was on a Sunday, so it was nice because you know, we'd have to do it in the middle of the week. And this was the original Tea Party in Boston. They reenact that every year. And they wanted a lot of money for tickets. And I said, you know what, we have a blog. That makes us a member of the media, right? The alternative media. So we got press passes. And we showed up with a Camp Constitution press pass, you know. So it was kind of fun. How many of you can write one article a month for our blog? That's all. I mean, you have to spend every waking moment. And if we get 20 people in this room writing important articles, right? I'll give you an example. There was a young man, I think it was in North Carolina, that was a valedictorian of his public school. And he gets up there and he was supposed to read this approved speech. And he said a prayer and he gave his testimony. And all the teachers were back there, all the teachers that are supposed to be 50 years ago, they would be encouraging him. They're all looking, they'll probably be fired because they failed, right? And destroying his faith. All the students were praising him. Isn't it a motivational thing? Well, I wrote a little article about that. We got, you know, about 6,000 or 7,000 people may have saw that, right? But if we do this stuff all the time, and the more people that see the blog, it becomes an important source of information. So if you have anyone would like to do that, please talk to me about it. It's important. Okay? Yeah, here we are reporting on Camp Constitution. This is the replica of a ship where they dumped the tea. It was a lot of fun too to get there. There's our sponsors page. Now we have a lot of folks that will probably never even come to our camp, but help us out. And some, by the way, if you have a business and you participate in this camp, or your parents do, we will put your business on the site free. It's just as a courtesy because you participate. We have a gentleman makes these great signs for us here, and the banners. Socha Sign Company. His daughter used to come to a camp some years ago. We have another guy that makes us pamphlets, Nature Most Laboratories, right? Because Mr. Everett send out cards. You can't forget that. We published a book for Jen Coffey. We co-published it, and she's very well known in the knife community. So a knife company down in Alabama, I think, A.G. Russell, a very well-known knife manufacturer, made some donations. There are some other people that have helped us out over the years and what have you. So can you sell an ad on our sponsors page? $50, $100? It adds up. Could you imagine if 50 people or 100 people all sold one $100 ad? That'd be enough to sponsor a whole lot of campers, right? And send Reverend Kraft and Garrett Lear around the country on a very important speaking tour, right? So these are the things that we can do. So okay, Facebook pages. Again, if you're not on Facebook, stay off Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I really encourage you to use this as a tool to promote the camp program. You know more about technology than I do. You know about copying, pasting, what have you. We have hours, lots of footage here. Should we be selfish about what goes on inside our camp? Should the whole world see what we do?
Yes.
Not just 300 views here or 400 views there. You remember last year, some of you here last year, the Reverend Kraft gave his very motivational, it was about 20 minutes long, right? Very motivational closing about the 3 Hebrew children that would not burn. You remember that? You know when Obama won the election and it was kind of a sad day? I posted that places. I said, you want something uplifting, watch this. Who else did? You don't have to raise your hands if you don't have to, but you remember Reverend Kraft said, make this go viral? And everyone said, yeah, right on, amen, we're going to do it. But guess what? Not too many people did. But that doesn't mean you can't do it, right? There's just so much good information out there that we should be sharing with people. And it's not just Facebook, there's other social network sites. There's Patriot Action Network that has like 100,000 people that look on that site, and there's all kinds of places out there to get the word out, get the message out that we can use. YouTube channels and Vimeo channels. I did a YouTube about 2 minutes long. I was simply standing in front of a business with a Chinese flag flying. This was in Indiana a couple of years ago. And there was no wind, and I said, God, I need a wind because I can't see the flag. All of a sudden the wind popped up, a wind came up, and I got about 15,000 hits or views, and I also got an interview at a South Bend, Indiana newspaper. We went down we did a flag raising event just recently in City Hall Plaza in Boston. We raised the Gadsden flag on City Hall Plaza, 8x5 flag, and that was posted on Camp Custom. To me, that's poking the eye. And we're right there saying, we're reminding the city of Boston that used to be a city on the hill that was founded by righteous people, and we're still around. You see, I think to me it's a pretty inspirational thing. And there's Pastor Lear and his Black Robe Regiment hosting that flag, and here's Garrett Lear carrying his 69 caliber musket through downtown Boston. That's pretty cool stuff, right? But nobody would know it if you don't tell other people about it. And so please do that. How about something as simple as a bumper sticker? This is Mrs. Rice's car here, so we have plenty of bumper stickers. I know if you don't put bumper stickers on your car, fine. But there's just one easy way to get the message out, right? How about the camp pamphlets and other camp material? We're going to have next year's pamphlet probably available, at least downloadable, in a couple of weeks. Will you download them and pass them out to people? Put them in public venues, like this actually is the campground here, Toe Nippy downstairs. I get up here maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and I'll always put them here. But in my travels, I put them at libraries, laundromats, schools, and what have you. So that's stuff that we should do on a regular basis. Look for places where you can promote this freedom message. You know, a lot of people do tracking. You know, you put Bible tracts. I think it's great. Can't you put a few Constitution? If they're interested in the Lord, they might be interested in camp too, right? It goes hand in hand. So, I want to mention this here. We have a junior camper, Gus Caleb. Where are you, Gus? There you go.
You spelled Gus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong. But anyway, Gabe. I'm sorry, Gabe Kalis. But this was something a speech he gave at a homeschool group, right? So he's not afraid to open his mouth. A little guy like that, and he's talking. And what I did with this is I put this on our camp script page, and people. I got about 400 or 500 views already. But isn't this a nice little testimony to what we can do at camp here? What about hosting a Camp Constitution speaker? Well, how can I do that? You know, you have a local library in your town that has a meeting room. That's pretty simple. They're usually free, right? Give us 2 months lead time, and we can make it happen. You get Reverend Kraft, Garrett Lear, myself, and many others. Mr. Moore. It'll be hosted by Camp Constitution. Sound like we can do that? And you know, we can travel. I live in Boston. I travel around the region. We can make it happen. We've got some people, hey, you need to get to California? I got a friend of mine who's got lots of frequent flyer miles. He did have 2 million until he got to know me pretty well. Now he's so it can happen, right? Anybody interested in doing something like that? Yeah. Okay. Now here is this. This was a picture. We put this in a JPEG format, right? And I have an iPhone. I know a lot of people spend countless hours with foolish things on their iPhones, right? You're waiting for a bus, you're waiting for whatever. Can't you get a picture of this and post this on pages, on your Facebook page? So I'm sitting around waiting. Hey, I'm redeeming the time, right? I got 10 minutes to kill. I'm going to sit down there. I'm going to post this on friends' pages, right? How many people did that? How many people saw this on their Facebook page? How many people clicked like and shared it? How many people shared it, right? The more people that see stuff like this, the more we're going to be able to grow and make these, not just set the goals, but the vision, okay? T-shirts, yeah, that's an advertisement. They're very comfortable and very fashionable. You like the pink ladies, right? Who likes the pink? Guys like the pink. My wife liked the pink. So that helps promote that. We have Camp Constitution. We've reprinted a lot of things. You know, we reprinted a coloring book that I picked up at the Ridge Historical Society. It was designed in 1976. It was great. It was a history lesson. So we got the permission to reprint it, and we do information tables or parades, like we did in Dedham with Mr. Moore. We're giving these to the little children. So the parents appreciate it. We're not just giving some candy to rot their teeth, but we're giving them something of some substance. Where does this come from? Camp Constitution. They may be looking into us, right? We've got a lot of different articles and books, and we just reprinted one from our friend Bob Kingsbury. Remember Colonel Kingsbury? If you hear about 3 years ago, he was in uniform. Well, he had a little bit of a setback physically. He's not able to walk. He donated his library to Camp Constitution. We've been selling his great books and raising money. And he was a World War II veteran, very heroic World War II veteran. He wrote a 30-page letter to a professor. And I said, I want to reprint this for you. So we can make it, we have them available here. And he gives them to people in the nursing home as well. So what will you do to keep it going? Because it's nothing. It's not just going to happen because it happened this year or last year. Oh yeah, this is this year's camp photo. What will you do to keep the campfires going? Right? I'm really encouraging you to really step up. And this is not my camp. It's not Mrs. Harper's camp. It belongs to all of us. All of you that participate. It's not you guys. It's us. And if we have that attitude, we're going to be able to grow this camp, and these goals of having other camps, having a longer camp program, or maybe more than one session will happen. Okay, thank you. I want to mention something too. I brought this up, this little prop up here for a reason. I used to work in the post office. Forgive me for that, folks. Even though I was still always a conservative-minded person. And every so often, the fellow would send these giant postcards. He would, and I thought, man, we were all talking about them. Everyone in the post office talked about them. So we started doing stuff like this, many years ago, other issues, and I thought, and Mr. Villaniscus wanted one of these signs. So I said, I'm just going to mail it as a giant postcard, and we did, right? So how many people saw this? Now, I don't expect you all to get one of these, but you can get like an 8x10 or 8x11 on a 40-pound stock, and mail it to people. Mail it to your friend. Mail it across the country, right? How about using this as billboards, bulletin boards too, and post them up? So all kinds of ways to promote this wonderful program. Now, this time I think we had some diplomas to give out. Is that it?
Just starting them to those who gain the most points. We actually had a record.
Well, Mrs. Harper, let me just turn it over to you now. So.